Missing someone, love with all your heart. Missing someone, love with heart.
What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. In this week's episode, I'm going to show you a retouch on how I like to do my dimensional brunettes. This client of mine has been with me for a couple years now, and we are going to freshen up her color. We're going to relighten her roots. I would say she waits about like 4 months in between each appointment. So I would say that's pretty much like a low maintenance type of balayage color. So this is really great for clients who want something more low maintenance and dimensional and still feel on the lighter side if you are naturally dark. So when working with like dimensional brunettes, I always ask my client if they want to go a little bit lighter or kind of maintain the dimension that they already have, because this is going to determine whether I pick up the old pieces that I highlighted last time or I pick up some new ones that I didn't highlight last time, which is going to create a little bit of a lighter effect on them. And then it also matters how long they've been waiting in between appointments. A lot of times if my clients wait about like 3-4 months in between appointments, they can really decide whether they want to like maintain the dimension or go a little bit lighter. Anything beyond like 6 months or more though definitely needs to kind of almost do like a full type of balayage look for it to maintain that same color, because by then the roots are like super grown out. But since she came in within like 4 months or so, I am alternating actually and picking up some of the pieces that I left out last time and some of the pieces that I highlighted last time to maintain the dimension that she likes. And since this is a dimensional brunette balayage look, I want to make sure that I don't over highlight this underneath back section here, because when she curls her hair and sees that dimension, this is where it's laying at. So a lot of the dimension that you see in those pictures with the depth between the curls are made from the back here. So it's really important not to over highlight this back area. And so you can see I'm pretty much doing like a medium sized weave, and I'm making some of my weaves pretty spaced out. I'm not doing anything too light, too chunky, or close together. I'm leaving pretty much a good amount of dimension in between my weaves, and then just highlighting and getting a feel of where her hair lays with her layers and stuff, and determining where I want to highlight a bit more and where I want to leave a bit more dark. So the products that I'm using today is the Blonde Me Sports Cough Lightener. I started off with a bowl of 6 and 20 just right at the nape area, and then after that I just mixed up a bowl of 20 volume, and with the Blonde Me powder to developer, I like to mix it 1 to 1.5 to give me a nice thick consistency so that my foils don't slip and it's not too runny or too thick. It gives me a really nice, clean, easy lift. So as I get towards the top here, you can see that my weaves are being very consistent. I'm doing pretty much a medium to small weave and having some space in between my weaves. Like the weave isn't super close together as I'm weaving them out. It's pretty evenly distributed, and I kind of work this pattern all throughout her head and all the way to the top. So as I'm doing the sides here, I like to weave this section horizontally up the head, and then I'll weave one side completely all the way up to the temple area, and then I'll move on and to the other side and reach that to the temple area as well before hitting the money piece. And again, as I'm weaving her sides here, I am going to be leaving the same amount of dimension that I did in the back, especially below the crown area. And then everything above the crown, I'll see what the placement before looked like, because I don't want the roots to be the same as the placement that I did last time, since she only came in within that 4-month mark. Because of that, I'm going to be weaving her roots a little bit more dimensional, so I'm going to leave it a little bit more dimensional so it kind of gives it a nice melted look where her ends are a little bit lighter. A key point whenever I weave the sides and the front area is to always pick up a piece around the hairline so that that hairline stays nice and bright and feels light, so that you don't have any dark patches around her face. So then once I reach the temple on that side, I move on to her money piece, and for this specific look, this client doesn't really like a super bold money piece, so I go ahead and just do about 3 to 4 baby lights back to back. If she wanted something more bold and something to really frame her face, I would have done a few slices in between or right before the baby lights. It just depends on whatever money piece they're looking for. But for this specific look, since she wants something more dimensional and just more natural looking all around, I just did baby lights back to back and then moved on to the top for the rest. And since I'm doing the money piece here, I do like to do baby lights opposed to doing like a medium-sized weave throughout the rest of the head, because this kind of gives it the slightest bit of a face frame. Even though we're doing a dimensional brunette and she doesn't want a heavy money piece, this still gives that very natural lightness around the face and makes it all kind of come together. So onto this last section, which is this top part. You can notice as I weave her hair, I'm very consistent and making sure that my weaves are super clean. This is going to make it super easy for me to retouch it later if I ever want to leave or pick up the pieces that I left out or highlighted this appointment. So it's really important whenever you're doing any type of highlighting technique to be very clean with your weaves so that you can prevent any overlapping or damage for future appointments. So for my client's toner, I'm going to be using the Pulp Bright Liquid Demis, and for her root shadow, I'm going to be doing 6-0. This is probably my go-to for doing any type of root shadow because it's a very nice cool toned brown and it fades beautifully whenever my clients come back in. And so for her bottle and the color that I'm using on the mids and ends, I'm going to be using 7-8, which is a level 7 brown, and adding in a little bit of the 3-3 booster because I want it to be more of a balanced brown. I don't want it too ashy, and sometimes I feel like the 7-8 can be slightly on the ashier side, so I like to add in a little bit of gold just to kind of balance the tones. So for my client's level, I like to lift her to a nice, like I would say a clean level 9. I definitely want to make sure that there is no level 7 in her hair because I want her brown to fade really pretty. You saw how she came in with her before, and I want the color to fade not orange. So to do that, you gotta lift the client's hair to at least like a level 8 or 9. In her case, I like to lift her to a level 9 because I feel like it just really fades really pretty, and yeah, I just feel like it lasts longer that way. So I'm going in with her root shadow, and I start in the back and just taking pretty much vertical sections all the way to the front. And I like to do this because I feel like it blends really well. I used to do the root shadow horizontally, but I feel like taking vertical sections, it kind of just blends everything a little bit better, and I feel like I kind of get through it a little bit quicker. I also feel like starting in the back, it gives it a nice gradient as I get towards the front area. So once I'm done applying the root shade, I like to go in with the lighter color, and I'll typically apply it on the mids, and then I will brush that out. And once I start seeing the root shadow color and the mid color kind of toning and almost getting to the color that I like, that's when I start to apply on the ends, and then I pretty much just let this sit until I feel like it's the right level and tone. Alrighty guys, so here is the finished look. This is how I like to maintain a dimensional brunette on a lot of my clients. You can see the dimension and the pops of beautiful highlights that she has. This hair color is great for clients who are naturally dark but want something that is low maintenance, because as this fades out, the tone is going to fade beautifully. She doesn't feel like she ever really needs to come in for a toner other than if she waits a little bit longer in between her root appointments. But yeah, I would say for this type of color, it's good to come in every about 4 months to maintain the roots and retone everything down. Also, you guys can see with the toning technique, it does get gradually a little bit lighter as we reach towards the hairline in the front, which I really love because it gives a beautiful gradient and a more natural highlighted look to the dimensional brunette. Alrighty guys, that is it for this week's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, I will talk to you guys next week.